ってた街の明かりや冷房暖房パソコンもテレビも車もそうどこから来てるか知らずただ消耗でもこれからは考えようその快楽本当に必要超えていく過剰な見栄や欲望偽りの価値にはノーと言おう太陽光や水力風力地球の恵みだけ信じよう明かりつくことに感謝の心持てれば無駄にはしない誰も過剰な電飾愛する故郷東京でもそろそろ終わりにしよう何が本当の心の栄養か気づいてならせよ警報 Gotta say no 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 と言えよ日本人胸に誇りを持ち本当の価値つかみ掲げよう To the sky この国の未来一言じゃない Cause action ならすクラクション I say no 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 さしてもらうこの主張 Gotta say no 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 と言えよ日本人胸に誇りを持ち本当の価値つかみ掲げよう To the sky この国の未来一言じゃない Cause action ならすクラクション I say no 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 さしてもらうこの主張
この曲も電気で作ってるあの歌も電気で作ってるこの曲を電気で聴いてるなら考えてみてほしいその PC もその携帯も街の光も豊かさのかけらどこ吹く風じゃ済まない話悲しいけど今
I asked myself about my own life. How careful am I to make sure that I'm not eating stuff that's going to hurt my body? Do we take as much care to make sure we're not consuming things that might be harmful to us, that might be harmful? And I realized I grew up in a home, which probably wasn't different than many homes, where we had meat 6 nights a week, and often as lunch as well. Maimonides tells us that most diseases are caused by a poor diet. We know very well that heart disease and cancer are taking countless lives in our society. And we know that the causes of these ravaging diseases range from high cholesterol levels to high blood pressure to the consumption of different toxins that render our bodies vulnerable to these diseases. And so the question is the kind of diet that we are consuming in North America a diet which is prone to optimal health? Can we make improvements in the way we eat, in the kind of foods that we eat? Nachmanides, the Ramban says in Exodus chapter 23, quoting the verse in the Bible, "And you shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your bread and your water and remove illness from your midst." And Nachmanides says, through them, through your bread and your water, meaning through your food, I will free you from disease when your food and drink are good, Nachmanides says. When they're good and healthy. They won't cause disease and sickness. On the contrary, they will heal you. When your diet is a healthy diet, it will both prevent illness and it actually will heal you if you are ill. The Talmud has a tremendous amount of practical advice about health issues. There are dozens and dozens and hundreds of statements in the Talmud that suggest what is healthy, what's not healthy. We have an amazing story in the Tanakh. Daniel, we're told, and his 3 friends, Mishael, Azariah, and Hananiah, were thrown into a prison. And the prisoners were given the regular kind of food, chicken wings, whatever they were given to eat. And Daniel didn't want to eat this food, obviously. It wasn't kosher. So he said to the guards, listen, let's do an experiment. For 10 days, we won't eat any of the food that you're feeding everyone else. You'll just give us vegetables to eat. And it says in the book of Daniel, in the end of the first chapter, that after those 10 days, all the other prisoners had been eating the hamburgers and whatever else they were eating, and Daniel and his friend were just eating the vegetables. And it says in our Bible, guess who looked much better and much healthier just after those 10 days? Daniel and his friends. Back to the Garden of Eden. When we were put on this planet, The Torah tells us that we were put here la'avda u'lashamra, to work this planet and to protect it and to watch it and to guard it. And so the Midrash tells us that after the creation of Adam and Eve, it's a very striking and a very beautiful Midrash, that God took Adam and Eve by the hand and led them around the Garden of Eden and showed them how beautiful it was and said to them, I want you to see and to notice how incredibly beautiful this world is that I put you in. And he told them, the Midrash says, be very, very careful not to harm or damage this planet, not to harm or damage this world that I put you in, because if you destroy it, there'll be no one here after you to fix it up anymore. The rabbis teach us that we were made partners with God in the creation of this world. We were made partners with God in the creation of the world. God created this world and left it up to us to be stewards, to manage, to work this world. But we were given this world on trust. Talmud says something very interesting. The Talmud in Brachot contrasts two different verses. One verse in the Bible says, Hashamayim shamayim ladonai, v'ha'aretz natan livnei adam. The heavens belong to God, but the earth he has given to human beings. But the Talmud says, but there's another verse in the book of Psalms which says, La Hashem ha'aretz u'maloah, that the earth and everything in it belongs to God. So the Talmud says, well, which way is it? Is the earth given to human beings, or does the earth belong to God? It seems that these verses contradict. So the Talmud says it's not a contradiction. One verse is speaking before we make a blessing, and one verse is speaking about after we make a blessing, which means that the world belongs to God. It's not our world. And until we make a blessing, which means until we acknowledge that it belongs to God and it comes to God as a gift to us, if we use it, if we take it, we're actually stealing. So the world is not for us to use as we please. It's given to us under certain conditions. And there are many laws in our Bible which are designed to teach us that the world ultimately does not belong to us. The Shabbos, for example, says that our ability to create and to change the world is constricted, it's limited. We're told just 6 days you can work. But then there's a seventh day where you've got to stop your work. Stop your work. Because you're not the masters of this world. You're to emulate God. The Shemitah year, the year of the sabbatical, where we're told that on the seventh year we can't use our fields and plow and harvest. We don't have the right to just use everything when we want to, because we say it's ours. The Torah is constantly telling us the world belongs to God, and we use it according to His permission and according to His instructions. And so one of the great laws of the Torah, one of the most central principal laws of the Torah, is a law which says we are not allowed to wantonly destroy anything of value in this world. And the Torah teaches us this law in a very unusual context. The Torah speaks about the laws of going to war. And you can imagine when you're in a war situation, things are very tense, and you're not necessarily at your best behavior. And often people will do whatever it takes to do to win the war. So the Torah tells us if you're engaged in a battle and you're laying a siege to a city, and you want to build ramparts, or you want to build siege equipment, you want to build catapults, you want to build stuff to be able to conquer this city, the Torah says you're not allowed to chop down a fruit tree to do it. You imagine there are people that are in the middle of a war, and they need equipment, they need wood, because they're fighting for their lives, and they want to conquer this city, and the Torah says, that tree you can't touch. My rabbi told us an amazing story that during the war in Lebanon, when the Israeli forces fought in Lebanon in the 80s, there was a platoon of Jewish soldiers. They happened to be religious soldiers. And they were hungry in the middle of the skirmish, and there was a tree, I think a cherry tree. There was something that they were passing by, and they wanted to take some of the cherries. And their rabbi, who was the chaplain of the group, said, you can't take the cherries. We're not here conquering this land. We're not here to conquer this land. You just can't take whatever you want. So we have a principle in the Torah which says, those are fruit trees, you cannot destroy those fruit trees. And the rabbis went on to extrapolate, to teach that we are not allowed to destroy anything of value for no purpose whatsoever. We're required to protect the earth's natural resources. And we have to use the resources of this world efficiently. One of the reasons is that wars are often fought because of natural resources. Oil supplies, food supplies. People often will fight other countries